Dear children, I welcome you all to teleteaching program of EduSat. Today, we shall discuss a very good story, a tiger in the zoo. In the first class, I had a discussion with you about a tiger in the house, and I have already discussed two things there, a tiger in the jungle and a tiger in the house. So, that two episodes cover part 1. Today, we shall discuss about the rest part of the story, that is called part 2. In the part 2, you will find a tiger in the zoo. That means, now the tiger cub Timothy was transported to zoo. Grandfather brought him to the zoo. Now, what happened there and what problem the tiger cub faced there, and when grandfather revisited the zoo, what things he marked and what complaint he did, and what reaction he got from the side of the zoo authority, and how did he react and left the zoo finally. Finally, what was the consequences? So, let us start the story part 2, a tiger in the zoo, right. Now, in this part you will now see about the zoo. The zoo authority gladly received Timothy as it was a well fed and civilized tiger. So, when grandfather first brought Timothy to the zoo authority was very glad. Why? Because Timothy was domesticated, it was a civilized tiger and well fed. So, they gladly received it because it was free of cost. The zoo authority had not to pay anything else to the grandfather. Grandfather gave the just left the tiger cub in the zoo. Okay. After 6 months, again grandfather got an opportunity to came to Lucknow. When he came to Lucknow, he wanted to visit Timothy and how Timothy was getting on there or progressing there. For that reason, he revisited the zoo. After 6 months, author's grandparents were to visit their relatives' house in Lucknow. Grandfather went to the zoo to see how Timothy was getting on there. He wanted to visit Timothy. Okay. So, now after 6 months, grandfather again came to meet Timothy, right. So, he went straight to the cage of Timothy and he put his arm through the bars of the cage. Timothy was in the cage. Grandfather just put his hands and patted the cub on his forehead and began to stroke the tiger's forehead and ticked his ears. Out of affection, out of love, grandfather did so. In return, Timothy also reacted. What type of reaction Timothy showed? Timothy also allowed grandfather to play with him. As grandfather was playing with Timothy at his home. Okay. The tiger also licked grandfather's hand in the meantime. So, both the owner and the tiger cub were passing their time and enjoying each other's. Okay. They are exchanging their feeling through allowing the tiger cub allowing the grandfather, and grandfather was ticking its ears, patting its forehead like that. So, in the meantime what happened, a person who was the keeper of that Jew, came. In the meantime, a leopard and saw that, and at that moment what happened? Grandfather saw a leopard snarled at the tiger cub. What happened? When the leopard, which was in another case, snarled at the tiger cub. So, now the tiger cub was irritated. So, he feared and went back, leaving grandfather. So, this type of things continued. Repeatedly the leopard came to tiger cub, disturbed him. Again the tiger cub went back to the corner of the Jew. Again when the leopard was driven by grandfather, again the tiger cub came to him. Both were amusing each other. Okay. The where the keeper, the people who had gathered there and watching all the things were surprised. Okay. So, how the grandfather was able to play with a tiger? All the spectators, onlookers were surprised how a man was playing with a wild animal. So, all are surprised, right that. Then all the things happened when grandfather did not like the leopard and did not like the reaction of Timothy. He wanted to lodge a complaint. So, then grandfather went to complain the Jew authority about it. Which one? How the leopard was time and again coming to tiger cub and disturbing him, and why unnecessarily the tiger cub would be disturbed. To prevent that, to stop that, the Jew authority would do something for it. That is the reason why grandfather went to meet Jew authority, who was the superintendent of the Jew, right. Now, what happened? He went to complain and tell them to transfer Timothy to other place. But what did he see? But the Jew authority was on leave on that day. Grandfather was unable to meet Jew authority because he was on leave, right. Then before leaving the Jew, now grandfather came back. Now it is getting dark, grandfather had to leave the Jew. So, before leaving, he once again came back to Timothy to bid him goodbye, right. So, what happened? Now, grandfather again came to the tiger to bid him goodbye. The tiger again began to lick his hand. As grandfather first came, met him, played with him, also the tiger very lavishly also licked his hand. So, such type of activities again began, and grandfather was little bit worried as he was to leave the Jew. Like that, at the very moment what happened? Another keeper warned him. First keeper was the episode what grandfather was doing. Then secondly, after returning from superintendent Jew authority office, grandfather again came to Timothy to bid him goodbye. Now, he was just playing with him. Another keeper came and warned him. Keeper informed him that it was his tiger, but the keeper informed him that his tiger Timothy had died 2 months ago. So, grandfather asked him why he was asking him, warned him not to touch the tiger cub. He reminded the keeper that it was his tiger cub, and perhaps the keeper might have been there at the time of dropping the cub in the Jew. The keeper could recognize grandfather, but he was not happy to inform that it was not his tiger cub. he informed grandfather that the tiger cub had died 2 months ago, before 2 months. Then bidding good night to Timothy, grandfather came out of the zoo very quickly. So, naturally the information would hurt grandfather. He might not have been able to accept the fact that his tiger cub had already passed away. He might have mistaken the information of the keeper as true or false. So, he was in confusion. At the same time, he got angry. So, with anger, he left the zoo very quickly. Okay. Now, this is all about the second part, the tiger in the zoo. Now, 3 things you must. The owner of the tiger came to meet tiger cub when he got the chance to visit a relative's house at Lucknow. Then when he came to the zoo, he went straight to the cage of Timothy and played with him, and he felt the same behavior with that tiger like Timothy. Why should we doubt? So, naturally he played with him. Then the first keeper was there, he warned him, grandfather, not to touch, but the grandfather again told him that it was his tiger. Then the keeper went away. Then grandfather marked time and again or again and again repeatedly another leopard in the cage, another cage coming closer to tiger cub, and the tiger cub was terrified and went back. So, grandfather did not like that. So, he decided to inform the things, the matter to the zoo authority. So, he came to superintendent's office to inform and request him to transfer Timothy to another cage. But unfortunately, what happened? The zoo authority was on leave. So, finding out no alternative, grandfather came again to Timothy to bid him goodbye before leaving the zoo. At the very moment when he was just playing with the tiger cub for the last time, the second keeper warned grandfather not to touch that tiger, because it was a dangerous tiger, and he informed that it was not his tiger cub, Timothy. Timothy had already passed away, and the tiger cub was trapped in the jungle, in the hill area, and kept in that zoo. Okay, children. Now, I discussed with you point wise and step wise how the story started, who are the characters, and what was the problem, what was the consequences, what I told you. Okay. Now, after that, in the part 1 and part 2, we found the tiger cub in the jungle, how it was brought to home of grandfather, then the tiger in the grandfather's house and his activities, and he was sent to the zoo in the first part. In the second part, now we found tiger cub in the cage of Lucknow Zoo. Okay. This is the thing. Now, we will discuss again what is the things done at the zoo, right. Okay, dear children, we have already come to the last part of the story, that is we found the tiger now in the zoo. Grandfather had already left the tiger in the zoo. After 6 months, he came again to visit Timothy. When he got the chance, he did not like to miss the chance. Again he came out of affection, out of love, out of attachment. He came to meet Timothy. So, he went straight there, played with Timothy, patted his forehead, ticked his ears, all the things he did there continuously. Timothy also allowed him to play with him. Again the spectators, the onlookers, the people gathered there and saw the reunion of the master and the tiger cub. They were surprised how it was possible for a person, for a man to play with a tiger. So, this was the thing. The first keeper came, also warned him, but when grandfather told him that it was his tiger cub and he had left it before 6 months, then the keeper went away. Then in the meantime, what happened? Grandfather saw a leopard in another cage attached to Timothy's cage, coming and snarling at tiger, snarling at Timothy. At that moment, Timothy was terrified and going back to the corner of his zoo. So, frequently the leopard was coming and disturbing tiger cub. Grandfather did not like it. So, he wanted to inform the zoo authority to transfer Timothy to another cage. So, he went there to meet the superintendent of the zoo, but unfortunately grandfather did not find him. Why? He was on leave. So, grandfather had to come back to Timothy. He decided to meet for the last time and bid him goodbye before leaving the zoo. Again he started playing with the tiger cub. The tiger cub also very lovingly licked his hands. Another keeper came immediately, warned him and asked him why grandfather was touching such type of dangerous tiger. Grandfather also told him that it was not a dangerous tiger, it was his own tiger whom he had left before 2 months, before 6 months. The keeper stammered and disclosed the truth that it was not grandfather's tiger, it was a dangerous tiger who was trapped 2 months, before 2 months and kept in that cage. You see how grandfather will tolerate that, how grandfather would believe the story of that keeper. This truth cannot be easily digested by grandfather. He got angry. Then he took decision not to spare a minute there. He immediately left the zoo, but with angry mood. He got very angry. Even he did not like to stay there even a moment. So, this was the story you found in that part. 3 things: the tiger cub left in the zoo. Again after 6 months grandfather came and met him, and what he saw, he did not find any difference between Timothy and the tiger cub in the cage. So, but the second keeper disclosed the truth that it was his not tiger cub. It was another ferocious, dangerous tiger who was trapped from the nearby hills and kept in the zoo. So, this is the thing. This is the reaction of tiger cub. What was the reaction of the tiger cub? That means, I told you the characters first in the part. Who are the characters? Grandfather, the keepers, tiger cub and leopard. These are the characters. Then what was the reaction? The reaction was that the leopard attacked the tiger, snarled at the tiger. Then Timothy was terrified and went away. And what is the reaction of the people? The audience reacted. How they reacted? They were surprised. How could it possible? How could it be possible for a man to play with a tiger for a long period? So, this was the reaction. Then what was the reaction of grandfather? Grandfather reacted. He did not like the continuous disturbance made by the leopard. He wanted to inform the matter to the superintendent. Then again he came back without any success. Again when he just playing, when he was just playing with the tiger cub, another keeper also disturbed him. He disclosed the truth that tiger cub had already died. So, grandfather reacted. He got angry. He left the zoo angrily. So, this was the story and reaction and the conclusion. What is the consequences? The consequence is up to you. You have to know whether the tiger cub had really died or the keeper told the lies. So, this is the thing. This is the end of the story and left upon you to think of, yes, the tiger cub had really died or not. Thank you, children. This is the thing I discussed, and also we discussed some of the MCQ. There are 10 MCQs, multiple choice question answer we have already discussed. This is not sufficient for you. You will find many MCQ in the third part and second part and also first part. You just go back to the test, again read the story and you will underline the headline, you will underline the important points, then you will note the important points, then you can get number of MCQ and you will understand the story in a better way, and you will find many new MCQs in the text. Okay. This is all about the story, and there are 3 stages of story I have discussed with you: part 1, part 2, part 3. In the first part you saw the tiger in the jungle. In the second part you saw the tiger at home of the grandfathers. Then in the third part, grandfather himself transferred the tiger cub to the zoo. Why? Because the tiger cub showed his behavior which was not accepted by grandfather easily. That means, the tiger cub showed little bit unfriendly behavior. That is why the tiger was transferred to zoo. Now, even in the zoo, the grandfather could not find any difference between Timothy and the tiger cub who was in the zoo. When the keeper, second keeper, informed that it was not his tiger cub, only then grandfather came to know that his tiger cub was dead. Okay. This is all about the story, and you will go back to the text and read the story and collect lot of information. Now, I discussed all the three parts of the story. Also, we discussed some of the important MCQs. Then you go back to the test again, read tit and bit, you would find lot of multiple choice question answers in part 1 and part 2 and part 3. This is all about the lesson I delivered you, I discussed with you. I hope we will do better in the examination. Thank you.